Welcome to the Fatherhood Fitness Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Pluff. Each week, we will cover various topics that dads struggle with in their fitness journey. I'll give you actionable steps that you can apply right away, not only to take back control of your own health, but so you're able to be a better example for your kids too. All right. Welcome into this week's episode of the Fatherhood Fitness Podcast. We have Al Painter back with us today. If you remember, Al was with us on episode 27 way back in July. We kind of went off on a tangent at the end there. If you stuck with us till the end, we were talking about all the good food. We are recording this the day after the Super Bowl. I'm a big Chiefs fan. I'm trying to convert Al. Al's a 49ers fan. So it's been a little rough for him past couple of years having to deal with me. But Al, if you want to kind of introduce yourself real quick and we'll get started.
Yeah. First of all, we gave you Steve Bono, Joe Montana, and Elvis Grbac. All right. I don't want to hear it.
And Alex Smith.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You got Alex Smith. That guy got a bum rap, man. All those, he had to pay for like 14 offensive coordinators in 14 seasons, just about. Never got going. Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, who I am. Al Painter, been coaching fitness since 2001. Work with loads of parents. I'm a father as well, and I want people to exercise and move as much as possible because it helps them have more fun with their kids.
Awesome. So glad to have you back, Al. I'm wearing all my Chiefs stuff today. I'm pretty excited. Making Al look at me while we're recording this. So today,
I can't stand the Chiefs. I got to be honest, mostly because they beat the crap out of the Niners every time they played them. But God, Mahomes, even 75% Patrick Mahomes is still better than 100% of a lot of other guys throwing a ball in the NFL. He is so good. God, he's good.
Yeah, I spent my whole life in mediocrity as far as sports fans go, Chiefs and Royals. And so Royals won the World Series in 2015, and all my kids have now seen a Super Bowl win. My son has seen 2. He's watched 3 Super Bowl games in the first 4 years of his life. So that's pretty impressive. But
yeah. I think your Royals are bringing back the Baby Blues this year.
Yeah, they kind of use them as an alternate. They usually use them as an alternate, but they're not, to be honest, they're not my favorite. They're not my favorite. But that's neither here nor there.
All right, well, there you go.
But I appreciate you coming back on, Al. We're going to be talking about cardio today. Now, kind of, there's been a trend, really over the past few years of kind of promoting how cardio, isn't ideal for fat loss. You want to prioritize strength training, which I agree with. But cardio is excellent for your health. And we kind of look at this like either or. Well, do I do cardio or do I do strength? And which do I have time for? Ideally, you do both. And I think a lot of times, with dads, by the time you get home from work, you make dinner, maybe you get your workout in, you're playing with your kids, you're something that's going to bed. How do you fit all this in? And so that's why I want you on here today. I know you work with endurance athletes. So how do you kind of fit it all in with your clients?
Well, with the endurance athletes, they usually have their own program on their bike, and I just kind of fill in the gaps with strength. And they're a different breed because they're very focused. It's weird. I don't have that level of focus, but yay, they do. So they'll do it. I mean, like they could have a broken leg, broken arm, and they'll still go try to run, ride, and swim. That's just kind of, yay. That's not me. But as far as strength training goes for dads or regular folks, or time crunch people and cardio, you can do both. Right. I mean, I just did a Facebook Live session on time crunch workouts where I gave a template of if you said 30 seconds of moving with 30 seconds of rest, you pick 3 exercises, you have anywhere from, I believe, 15 and a half minutes of movement all the way, if you did 15 rounds, all the way down to like 6.5 minutes if you did 6 rounds or something like that. But it works really well because it gets you moving a whole lot of muscle and the heart rate goes up. I mean, cardio, it's not running, it's not riding, it's not swimming, it's not hiking, it's not snowshoeing, it's not A, B, C to Z. It's get your heart rate up and keep it up, right? If it's an activity you enjoy doing outdoors, great. If it's something called tag, because you have kids at home, that not only is cardio, but it's agility. It could be strength training if you pick the kids up, you toss them on the bed or whatever, that kind of thing, right? So there are a whole bunch of ways to do cardio without needing 60 minutes, a gym, or a machine that's got a motor on it.
I think the hardest parts is not knowing necessarily like where to start there. You know, like you said, going, you know, playing tag with your kids there. I think a lot of times, like my clients especially, typically when I start working with them, I'm not the first program they've ever done. And so their concept of what a workout is may not be accurate, right? Cardio is a lot of different things, like you just said there. It doesn't mean you have to go to the gym and do the row for 30 minutes, right? It could be a walk around the neighborhood. And so if somebody who's really time crunched, like they're working 56 hours a week, they have multiple kids and stuff, and they are getting strength training in, but they're only getting, say, 3 strength training workouts in a week, how would you incorporate some cardio though? Would you take one of those workouts away and make that a cardio workout, or how would you do that?
I would have them do finishers, 20 seconds of moving and like maybe 10 seconds of rest, but super, super, super fundamental movements, right? Like I'd combine a body weight squat with crawling. Like that's pretty simple. You just need a little bit of floor space and go. Something like that is really the way to go, because you can get 5 to, let's be realistic, busy parents, 8 minutes of a pretty good lather by doing workout finishers. And then if it's possible, instead of strict cardio, I'd say, okay, look, here's the deal. I know your schedule's impacted. I know trying to get another 2 to 3 focused 30+ minute sessions of you moving is going to be super difficult. So here's how we're going to do it. Every time you go to the store, park as far away as you can. When you're in the store, take 2 laps around the store walking before you start to shop. Anytime you have the option for stairs or an elevator, walk upstairs. Anytime there's a choice between doing the simple or the more movement-oriented version, always pick the more movement-oriented version. And if all else fails, set your watch for 5 minutes and play tag with your kids. Go, if you have the luxury of being able to go outside this time of year, go to the park with your kids. And again, set your watch for 5 to 10 minutes and follow them around. Tell them, okay, we're going to play follow the leader, let them go. They'll turn the park experience into a parkour course, and you will get a lot of benefit out of that. And it stacks up. It adds up. 5 to 10 minutes here and there every single day, or at least most of the days that end in the letter Y, is still going to give you a lot of benefit. And it's going to take the stress out of, oh God, I have to do this or else it's not cardio. Don't focus on working out and cardio. Just focus on movement and moving more as a habit.
Yeah, and I've noticed that difference in myself too. I started working from home full time about 1.5 years ago now, and so like I really, at first I really had to make it a point to get the step. Before, I was hitting 10,000-15,000 steps a day easy, but now like I could go the whole day and it's 4 o'clock and I'm at like 2,000, 3,000 steps if I don't make a point to do it. And so I was going on walks early in the morning, and I was like, oh, well, I could use that half hour to get some stuff done. So I stopped doing that. And all of a sudden I go the whole day and I'm like, well, now I really have to put in work here at the end of the day. And so again, I started, just walking around the neighborhood. It's a quick 10-minute lap, come back home. It's about 2,000 steps right there. And so it only takes me 10 minutes, but I literally just doubled my movement I
Yeah.
had throughout the day. And so, and things like you said, just going to the park, playing along with them. A lot of times, this is a great opportunity, for your kids to go play. You kind of get a little bit of a break, right? You're sitting on the bench watching your kids play, but this is also a great opportunity to get out there with them, right? I like going. I took my son to the trampoline park
Oh,
and
nice.
jumping around, and they have like Ninja Warrior stuff and all. It's so much fun. Like I think I had so much fun. Like I had fun. Like I think he had fun too. But this was my prime, right? And
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
there there's all these other dads there, and they're probably about the same age, maybe a little older. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Like, but a lot of them are just sitting there watching, sitting there, and I'm like,
Yeah. I
this
don't get that.
this is, and like, maybe I don't know the rest of it. I'm only judging on a 10-second. I see you sitting down. Maybe they were playing with him the whole time. Maybe they just got off a 12-hour shift. I don't know. You know what I mean? But to me, if I'm taking them to the park, I'm playing with them, right? And it's just an easy way. If I had to choose between, getting my 20-minute run in or running around at the park, I'm going to the park every time. It's like, to me, like, there's so much more benefits of that. And your kids are going to remember that too. Like your kids, it's important. I think it's really important for your kids to see you working out, see you taking care
Yes.
of yourself. But they're also going to remember you playing with them, right? And it's like, when they're, when they're 30, they're not going to remember, hey, remember that time when we went to the park and dad decided not to come because he went on a run and was taking care of his health. They're never going to remember that.
Yeah.
But they're going to remember, hey, you remember that time dad chased us around the park, and you know what I mean? And so, like, I think there's so many benefits to just, like, that's cardio, right? That's why you do cardio, right? Like I started running again recently. I don't know why. Like, it's a challenge, it's something like, but those are the things I want. I don't want to be exhausted, going. I don't want to be the dad sitting on the bench at the trampoline park, I want to be the one playing with them the whole time.
Yeah, we went to every time we go. Basically, Jeremy essentially has told me, look, we're going to the trampoline park. Reed, you're going to be moving with me, right? So we do that, and he does a kind of a ninja parkour class a couple times a week. And in fact, they had a parent kids class not too long ago.
That's awesome.
It was so fun. I realized it's not as easy as he makes it look.
Yeah.
Like the left and right agility stuff, I could still do to a pretty high degree, and all the hanging and swinging and everything else, that was fine. But having to go over a 4-foot barrier, especially after I got a little winded, that was tough, man. I ended up with a strong ground game running through that stupid thing with it falling on top of me on the other side rather than going over. I only made it over a couple times, but it was so much fun to try something different. And he and I had a really nice day. I mean, we got closer. We just had a lot of fun. And I could tell since then he kind of wants to do more stuff with me, right? It's a lot more fun when you can participate with the kids. And again,
Right.
if you've got an injury or for whatever reason you're not able to do it, then that's fine. If you're able to do it, even if it's for a couple minutes at a time, and you need to take a little bit of a time out, that's cool, because you're still playing with them, and they'll like that quite a bit.
Right. And I think like, going like on a hike or something like that. Obviously, you're not going to be able to go as far, depending on how old your kids are, right? If they're older, obviously. But I think it's really important to, one, schedule time where they're able to come see you work out, right? Like when they're coming to work out, when my kids are little, and so when they come to work out, I can't really work out, right? Like I have this fear that one day I'm going to drop a weight, and, I'm not going to know they're behind me or something. So I don't, we'll stick to pull-ups, but things like that when they're back here and stuff. But like, you don't have to do that every time, right? But schedule some times where they can see schedule times where you give up your run. It doesn't really matter. You miss one, maybe you're riding your bike, you miss one time during the week. It's not going to matter over the course of 6 months, right? And so it's like making those memories, and remember why you're doing it. Like, I mean, I'm not running to increase my VO2 max. That's a
Right.
benefit, that's a benefit of it. But like, I'm not competing and anything. You know, if you maybe you do 5Ks, marathon, you know, triathlons, things like that, then sure, you know, you're gonna have to be a little bit more dedicated. But overall, like your cardio's for your health. Your cardio's, and so like your day-to-day life is better, not just so you can increase your or decrease your mile time and things like that.
Yeah, when I when the kids were really young and they still fit into the trailer, I'd put them on my bike and I'd go out for about 45 minutes with each one. And there was a, oh, what was it? 8/10, 0.83 mile climb that kicked up to about, I don't know, 6-7% at the end of it that we would use for hill repeats. So I would take Lily out first because she was heavier, and I'd go up and down the hill a few times, you know, and then when the time was done, I'd head back home. And the home was about 15-minute ride from the base of the hill. I'd get Jeremy, and then I would go take him up the hill. And it was great because they got outside, I got to exercise, I got to do it in a way that was a lot harder. So there was a training benefit on my end. But the other side of that coin was I got to spend time with the kids, you know. And I remember Lily asked me one time, did you do this with Papa? I'm like, no, you know, we didn't do this kind of stuff because he wasn't as active as I am. And she said, really? Like, she was really surprised. So to them, it is now a normal sight to see Jill doing her Sunday morning dance class upstairs over Zoom, or I'm in the backyard exercising, or she's outside in the morning doing yoga so she can get that morning sun on her face and for circadian rhythms and all that kind of stuff. So for them, it's normal to see their parents moving because that is the expectation that we have set for them, that to be your healthiest and for you to have the most concentration and the best time in class, the more you move your body, the better it's going to be. They now know, reluctantly so, it took me forever to get them to buy into this, that when they're squirrely and their moods go south, that when they go to the trampoline in our backyard, they start jumping up and down and playing, they come back in. I mean, in fact, Lily's always, she's even said a few times, hey, I'm not feeling so good. My mood's a little funky. I'm going to go jump and I'll be back in. And she comes back in and they're the same great kids that we like 90% of the time.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's great. You know, I think like my kids know, like I try and make it a point a lot of times, like I work out when they're busy, they're doing stuff. And so they don't always know, you know, that's what I'm doing, you know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
like sometimes I just make it a point to tell them like, hey, I'm gonna go work out right now or something. But in the evening is typically where my wife works out and stuff. And at first, you know, the kids would try and go in the back room and check on what she's doing and stuff. But now they know, like, oh, hey, mom's working out, you know, that's normal, you know. And so it's like I think that's really important for them to see that, you know, get outside. Like yesterday, Super Bowl Sunday, you know, Chiefs victory, just gonna keep throwing that in there. But you know, we spent a lot of the day inside, you know, we spent a lot of the day inside. And so like you could kind of tell by the end of the night, you know, the kids were, you know, my son's wanting to play football and tackle me. He's copying everybody on TV, and so he's throwing his sister down on the ground and stuff like that. And so, you know, and they love it, you know, but it's like they want to be active, right? And unfortunately, you know, like if you're not, if they don't, like you said there, like you've made that an expectation, right? Or you've made that the norm. Like when they're not feeling good, well, now they're starting to realize that, right? But unfortunately, a lot of parents don't, you know, set that example, because even though a lot of parents, you know, stay in great shape, they may work out early in the morning, or they may work out after work before they come home. So, you know, their kids don't have no idea, you know, that they're spending this time like improving themselves, improving their health and stuff. And so, like, I think, you know, that's really awesome. You know, you've kind of made that a point to let them know, like, hey, like you're going to feel better the more you move and stuff. Like, let's go outside, let's go for a walk. I mean, my kids know, like, I go on a walk almost every single day, but like they don't know why. You know what I mean? Like they don't know why. Like if I don't go on a walk, I'm probably gonna have a headache, I'm not gonna feel good, and I'm probably not gonna be in a great mood. You know what I mean? And so it's like, I think, like, kind of like what you said there, it's important to explain that stuff too, because, you know, running itself like I don't I wouldn't say I enjoy it, but I love it when I'm done.
Yes.
I love it when I'm done, and so it's like I think that your kids are older than mine, and so how do you kind of set that tone in your household that like we may not like it, like working out, like very few times do you do an entire workout and be like, man, that went great, right? Everything felt awesome. My body feels fantastic. So it's like sometimes you're just not going to enjoy it. So how have you kind of set that tone in your house to kind of get them, although we might not like this, this is something that is really important.
That's funny you should mention that. We had, kids, their moods are like Super Bowls. They're all over the place, right? Just when you think you got a consistent set of moods and you can let your guard down a little bit, you can give your cortisol pump a rest. The whole operation goes south, right? So the last couple Wednesdays, we had big protestations over going to ninja class. I'm tired. In fairness, there was one day they didn't have school and Jeremy was playing with one of his friends all day. They were outside running around, which, okay, cool. But ninja class, part of that is we're trying to teach them, look, you signed up, you've made a commitment to your coaches, you're going to go. You're going to honor that commitment. Even if you don't participate, you're going to be in the building so they know you're there. So you can start developing that consistency of being reliable and keeping to what you say you're going to do. And it was bad, like low blood sugar bad, but we got in the car and we went. 5 minutes is all it took. Complete bounce back, smiles, laughing, running, jumping, tumbling, rolling. Oh, I had so much fun tonight. Oh, I thought you said you were quitting and you're never going again. Oh no, I love it. I want to keep going. Right. So it was just had to get them out of that mindset and get them to move for their physical health and my mental. But you just have to keep on them. You can't let that one day turn into 2 to 3 to 4 to 5, because then you're going to lose them, right? You have to keep that expectation that you're going to move, you're going to feel better, and it's going to have all these other benefits to every other area of your life.
Yeah, no, I love that. You said, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, they're already feeling better. That's what I tell my clients all the time, right? You may not want to work out today. Work out for 5 minutes. If you get to the end of the 5 minutes and you don't have it in you, okay, you tried, but like you may find after 5 minutes, you could do another 5. And then all of a sudden you're halfway done. Well, might as well finish it now, right? But 5 minutes, right, usually is all it takes, right? Running. The other day, I went on a run about a half mile in, maybe not even that. I was like, I don't think I'm going to make it. Ended up going over 2 miles. You know what I mean? It's like my stride was feeling good. I would have kept going, but I hit my stopping point. And so it's like, sometimes it just takes, just getting started. Momentum's real, right? Momentum's a real thing. You got to kind of slowly build it up. But once you get started, much easier to much easier to keep going.
Last week was one of those weeks where all of the time management things that you're taught that work when you actually use them. I decided to completely forego all of it, and my schedule just was horrid. There was barely any room in it for me. And as a parent, you don't get that self-care time. Right? You get a little squirrely in the head. So it was sunny out here, but it was breezy. It was like maybe 40, 32, 34. But the sun was in our backyard, and there were 2 things that I wanted to do. I wanted to exercise that day, but I didn't know how, and I was tired, and I was partying myself and just getting cranky and frumpy, and I wanted to watch the World Baseball Classic roster reveal on the MLB Network. So I thought, all right, hold on, man. What would you tell one of your clients? Oh, you found out one of your clients has an indoor trainer for their bike, and it's sunny in the backyard. They can't go for a ride because they don't have the time, but they can set it up for 20 minutes. What would you tell them? You set that bike up, you get your glutes on that bike, you turn those pedals over for those 20 minutes. So that's what I did. I set up my laptop so I could watch the roster reveal on my phone. I had 30 on, 30 off for, I don't know, 20 something minutes or so. And I hate riding the indoor trainer. If your listeners who have one, it is the equivalent of chewing tin foil and chasing that with Tabasco gargle while you're drinking cold instant decaf, eating crunchy peanut butter, it's horrible. It's other people love it. I hate it. I can't stand it because you're just sitting still. You're not going anywhere, right? But you're still having to pedal and turn them over, and you can't really coast because you got to keep the pedals going. But when I was done, my mood was up, my energy was up. I got late afternoon sun on my face. I slept better that night. I was in a much better mood. My usual congenial disposition had returned, and life went on for everybody around me in a much smoother fashion because I did a little self-care, common sense. And I didn't want to do it. It was cold. I don't want to do it. I was out there with a ski cap on and a sweatshirt and a vest on when I started to pedal. But then the layers came off when I got warm, and then I was like, this is kind of cool. I got the sun coming through the trees in our backyard. I let the cats outside, so they were running around. Nobody else was home. And I love the World Baseball Classic, which is, for those of you who don't know, it's the World Cup of baseball. And it's just, I love that tournament just to see all the different players. I mean, you might have Shohei Ohtani facing the Dominican Republic, which could quite possibly be the most dangerous lineup 1-9 ever assembled, with future Hall of Famers on the bench because the lineup is that good. And I was like, all right, this is what you do have to work with it and get over yourself.
Yeah. I mean, cardio is typically, unless I'm going outside, cardio's been to be the time when I catch up on shows and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, typically when I work out, listen to audiobook, music, something like that. But when I'm running on the treadmill in the garage, staring at the door is a lot of fun. And so I bring out the tablet there, put on a show on, makes time go by much quicker. But
sorry, go ahead. A heart rate monitor, folks, if you have the chance to do it.
Yeah.
If you've got one, wrist base is great. Chest strap is better. You can get the forearm thing relatively cheap. You can get a good, is it Whoop?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get, they have a whole array of different things. And the reason being is it'll help you from a couple of different facets. One, you'll know how hard you are or are not working. And if you're going to read and watch something while you're on a machine of some kind, it's pretty easy to not go hard. So keep looking at the numbers to make sure that, okay, I'm putting in a little bit of effort. And plus it just gives you, I like looking at the numbers. I'm a numbers geek.
Yeah.
From that perspective, I love seeing it. With this Garmin watch, you can set like the activity minutes you get or intensity minutes you get each week. So you can set that as a goal. And if your heart rate's high enough, you'll hit that intensity level that you're supposed to get. I think the recommendation is 150 minutes a week. Mine is 900 because I'm not that smart and I'm a glutton for punishment. And when I don't hit that 900, I get mad. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
900.
It's easy when it's in the summer because I can ride a ton. But right now, I got to do some work to get there.
Right. Well, Al, this is kind of a mini episode for us. We our last one there. We were talking. We could talk food all day, so I tried to avoid the subject for the most part. You did come in with a French fry hat in today, but just real quickly here. As far as cardio goes, nutrition, any quick pointers as far as like what to maybe not avoid, but maybe what to include, that's really going to kind of pay dividends, like both on the strength and the cardio side? Or do you feel like that doesn't coincide at all?
Everybody's different. So what fuels my body and helps me might not help you. What fuels your body and helps you might not help me. So it's an experimentation. The one thing I can tell people with certainty, only because I've learned this the hardest way possible on multiple occasions, mind you, that you don't eat or try to have your last bite of whatever it is you're going to eat 3 hours before cardio. I learned that when I was racing my mountain bike, I was given that advice and I was like, I can do it. Yeah, I tried a 45-minute window one time. I didn't work out so well. So if from that perspective, always have the water, but if you're going to go for a straight cardio session where you know you're going to be working hard, try to time it 3 hours after your last bite. So that way your
Okay.
stomach's pretty much empty and your body's ready to go.
Okay. And if your cardio session is only 20, 30 minutes, do you feel like the same rule applies?
It depends on the intensity,
Okay.
right? Because I've heard people talk about, oh, what's his name? It's the High Performance Health Show or something like that. Mike something or other. He was talking about after dinner, go for a 15-minute brisk walk, and it helps with digestion and
Yeah,
some
yeah,
other hormonal benefits.
Mhm.
So I think walking, you can get away with a lot more.
Okay.
Because if I got a belly full of food, I don't want to run. And for that ninja class, I thought I timed the oatmeal with the peanut butter better than I did. And we
Yeah.
started off with shoulder rolls, right? And I almost brought my late afternoon lunch back because I didn't wait enough time before I ate and started rolling. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that I think that's good. I think that's something I'll definitely have to try and play around with too. A lot of times I do my cardio in the morning, and kind of like I don't like to eat before I do it, and so like I'll just do it on an empty stomach, and I'm fine.
Yeah.
Like typically I like to eat before my strength training workouts, just for feel a little better during it and stuff. But like going on a run, running on the treadmill, things like that, I'm typically fine. And I've also found that sometimes cardio, depending like low intensity cardio, kind of blunts my hunger as well. And so like I can go for a pretty long walk and like maybe be a little hungry before I start, but I don't think about it all when I'm walking. So something kind of interesting as well too, which
Yeah.
if you're trying to lose weight, something that's one of your priorities, doing some brisk walks, between meals, 10-minute walks here and there, maybe something that kind of helps as well.
Yeah, it's all experimentation, right? You're not going to know until you know, right? If you're
Right.
working with a coach like Anthony, who can dial in everything that you're doing and give you, okay, on Monday, you do this, all the way through to the following Sunday, do all of this, be consistent, get your result. If you don't have the luxury of working with a coach, then you're going to have to trial and error your way through. And the best piece of advice I can give anybody who's listening right now is to have a schedule book and a pen or pencil and write down everything, because you can't progress what you can't measure. And the other day I had a great workout. I timed my meal correctly. I ate the right thing. Then the next time I had coffee, okay, yeah, but I had that coffee a little too soon before I worked out, and it was a higher intensity workout. Didn't work out so well. So I made the notes. Hey, eat more prior to, drink the coffee further out, make the adjustment. And I saw I was going to do it again. And I said, oh yeah, that's what happened last time. I better not do that. And the workout was a lot better because I had it written down so I could reference it. So write everything down. It's going to seem super trivial and like a non-starter, doesn't really make sense to do it. But after you get going, you can write down, okay, well, today I walked for 1.5 miles in 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, cool. So I know this is going to give me this many steps. Well, maybe next time I'll try to walk 1.75 miles in this 10 to 15 minute window, right? That way you have something to measure. You got some benchmarks and a baseline.
Yeah, no, definitely that's great. Writing it down, that's why I always say track data. It's really hard to figure things out. The more data points you have, especially at the beginning, you can, then you start to kind of be able to kind of tinker with stuff, kind of play as well. But Al, I appreciate having you on today. I know we don't have as much time to kind of cover everything we want to have. So, I think, a third time we'll probably have to have you on. We're going to talk all about nutrition and food that time, because Al's a big foodie just like I am. And so
I love food. Yesterday there was a guy who made wings at the party I went to next door. Yeah, with barbecue sauce and everything. I put a hurting on that wings plate. And it was funny because I was eating it. I'm like, yeah, there's probably a lot of sugar in this barbecue sauce. But then I kind of kicked that guy out. I was like, get out, you're boring, get out of here. And then I got to the guy who was like, yeah, this is hard. This is protein, man. This is chicken. This is protein. It's not deep fried. It's just got a little bit of barbecue sauce on it. You will be okay. And then it may have hit the teriyaki chicken skewers a little bit too.
Yeah,
Protein, man.
that's why I air fried chicken wings, Parmesan garlic sauce. That's what I like. So.
Oh yeah, Joe made the kale chips yesterday.
Oh,
man.
nice.
I love
Put a little salt on those. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And then
They're,
she made a chicken pot
better.
pie.
They're better than they sound. They are better than they sound.
Yeah, I got the remainder that I crunched them up and I put them in my eggs. Oh,
Yeah.
that was some
Awesome.
good eats right there.
Yeah, I was like, I love, I had way too much. But I figure, I gotta enjoy Mahomes, gotta enjoy the game. I'm only gonna get to do this. I got my Mahomes shirt on. Not sure you can see that.
Yeah, I mean, because it's going to be about 20 years until the next time you guys get the Super Bowl, so you might want to enjoy it while you get the chance.
I should have put a lot of money down on the Chiefs because I picked them to win all year, and so I could have been a wealthy man. Could have had some funding for the podcast, but cool, man. I appreciate you being on. We'll get where can we find you on Instagram?
At Do You Integrate? It's kind of boring stuff, people, so don't go on there looking for anything that's like, I don't know, Insta-worthy or just ridiculous movements of a more ridiculous nature. It's just kind of common sense based information and ways to exercise and move more to have your habit be consistent and solid throughout your week.
Simple and effective marketing, telling them not to come.
Exactly. Don't look.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Al. We'll get you back on soon, and we're talking all about food next time.
Yo, I'm in. Thank you.
That concludes this episode of the Fatherhood Fitness Podcast. Thank you for those of you who took time out of your busy schedules to listen. If you have any questions or comments or an idea for a topic for a future episode, please feel free to reach out, and I'd love to hear from you.